Okay.
All right,
Totally
welcome to unMadeGaming, where we weren't just plotting an actual murder. We were talking about space. That being
I never
said
that. Okay,
Just incriminated us live, Mike.
Hold on. He said we were not
We were
planning a
not
murder.
doing that.
We
Yeah.
were not doing that. We were definitely not.
What we were planning was space.
Which, by the way, you can grab that shirt. Just saying.
You can grab that shirt on like Gnome's Emporium of Magical Artifacts or some
YouTuber. I got
dumb name.
It's somewhere.
Good name.
I think that's what he named it, if I'm being honest.
I honestly have no idea. I just picked some random words and threw them together, so you're welcome.
That being said, if you want to support this shit show, please go check us out on Patreon. If you want to talk about it, go hang out in our Discord. And most importantly, actually two most important things. Look at the sweet art. Look at it. We got art. It's on the screen.
There's art.
I know.
It's on the screen.
I am right.
And in the bottom right corner of the screen, you will see the corruption bar. That serves two purposes. One, when it's full, Dot gets to do whatever the hell she wants to us, which has been real bad so far. And more importantly...
It's just been consequence-y.
Okay, sure.
It's just the consequences.
Sure. And the more important reason of that bar is every dollar that goes into that bar goes back to these wonderful, beautiful, amazing players that are here before you. Yeah, that's that. With that, with all my shilling out of the way, I turn things over to Dot to bring us into the third horizon.
Fuck, shut up. Let's go.
Yeah, Paul.
That is definitely the energy this entire campaign has had. Fuck shit up.
No, fuck, shut up. You put me up.
It's practically Tal's motto.
Well, you have in fact fucked some shit up, but nothing that can't maybe be fixed or that you haven't managed to finagle your way out of. Last week, you arrived at the portal station inside of the Hammurabi system. You met a few folk, pittered around. You were treated for your radiation poisoning by a cute doctor lady. What was her name? I put this down.
Dr. Lumara.
Dr. Lumara. She is the chief medicurge. She was a bit of a strange cookie, but most interesting was the fact that she is going to be, or was going to be, doing the autopsies on the bodies that were retrieved from space. That were in the coffins that you crushed upon your landing here. And through a very graphic scene, I went back and watched, I was like, wow, Chelsea, maybe I should, actually, this is the perfect time for me to say, this is a dark sci-fi setting. The longer we play this campaign, the darker things are going to get, which means that you should take care of yourself. If you feel like you need to step away, if we say something you aren't comfortable with, take a break. Nothing's more important than your mental health. So yeah, no need to put yourself through it for us. Warning done. There was a graphic scene where she removed the intestines from a body and proceeded to show you that the body was stuffed full of some kind of small pouches of red powder. And that red powder one pouch of it was confiscated thanks to some sticky fingers. And adding to some of the mystery of what might be going on here. In addition, you met a very curious woman, we'll call her. She was a dancer here on the station and presented a item to Polaris to return to his father. That's all I'll say about that scene. And some research was done. You managed to, thanks to the help of a lady aboard this station, Anita, the head writer for the Bulletin, who has a history with both Val's, I'm sorry, not Val. You're not Val. Tal's parents, and managed to get you in to speak to the Portal Master. And through some very high dice rolls, you learned that what happened with the ship, the Ghazali, and the freighter that went in before it was definitely not supposed to happen. In fact, something came through. Something came through from what potentially is believed to be the first horizon. A vessel, a single ship. And this ship, called the White Butterfly, we now know, is currently roaming the third horizon. Where you're unsure, but you do know that more than likely the attack on the mining colony in Taoan that has put out the original signal was definitely caused by such an invader. Yeah. We're going to pick up down by the docks. There was a request to potentially upgrade the vessel before leaving this station. As the camera pans down across the side of the Defiant, we see it letter by letter, T-H-E, as it pans down, and the camera slowly shifts back in time. Those letters and the outside of this vessel looking ever more clean, but it doesn't read the Defiant. I want to make sure I get this right. What did we call it, Eris? The Explorer? It reads the Explorer. Same ship, different decade. Earlier, you might say, and we see a man and a woman step off the gangway, along with Tao, a much younger version of Tao. By, say, 10 years. And your parents and you go about your business. Refueling, restocking. This is the life that you know as you've traveled the stars from beginning to end of your life. And your sister, and when I say it right, it's Jalissa, comes running up. She's younger or older?
Older.
Your older sister, she comes kind of bounding up to you. She tussles your hair, still treating you, of course, like the younger sibling. And she says, I've got somebody I got to go meet. If mom and dad ask, you're going to cover for me, right?
Yeah, I've got you.
She's like, I knew it. She kind of gives you a punch on the shoulder and runs off. You know that she probably likes to gamble. And more importantly, she has a thirst. She likes to flirt and spend time with people, especially since you spend most of your time on this vessel with just your family. So anytime she gets station side, she's off and about. Your parents restock, refuel, and they come back. And they, there's a look on your mother's face of both excitement, but she wears it heavy, as if it bears a burden of such joyous news. And she says, Tao, where's your sister?
Oh, she went to the General Traders to get some more supplies. Ran out of food.
We just left General Traders.
Oh, you must have missed her on her way out.
Must have. Always darting about that girl. It's going to get her in trouble one day. Your father, of course, puts an arm on a hand on your mother's shoulder to calm her, knowing that her girls know how to take care of themselves. And she says, well, your father and I have some news, and we'd like to share it with you and your sister. When you find her, please come back. We'll share it over dinner.
All right, I'll go find her.
You set off in the direction of your sister, at least where she left off. On this station, there is only one cantina. And you find her exactly where you expected to. She's currently in song with a bunch of other people at the bar. They are probably significantly more inebriated than she is because she's only been here for a short period of time, but she enjoys the company. And she sings, a few people stand on stools around them, and this jaunty tune rings out throughout the canteen. Everybody else drinks and kind of watches them toast in the air.
Jalissa, mother and father want to talk to us.
They always want to talk to us. I told you to cover for me.
I know, and they don't know you're here. They thought you were going to the General Traders, so we should hurry before they find out that I lied to you. I lied to them for you.
Can I have one more? Come on, have one with me.
Fine.
She gestures like for two. The kind of gruff older man, double chin, walks up, pours one, slides it to your sister, and he kind of looks you over. You don't look old enough to be drinking.
I'm old enough to stand at the bar, right?
You old enough to have a burr or two on you?
My sister has burr.
He looks at her. She slaps down a couple more. He nods, pours it, and slides you a drink. Your sister says, to us. Come on. What do we cheers to?
To another safe journey?
To another safe journey. She kind of takes it and cheers, and she tosses hers back like a professional. And she kind of pats you on the back. Everybody around got yeah! Let's have a little holler.
Oh, as burn. Does that always burn?
That's half the point.
Okay.
And she says, come on, before mom and dad worry. And she turns around and looks at the bar. She goes, can I get like, some fruit or something? And he's like, what? And she's like, just give me some fruit in a sack. And she throws down a couple more burr out of her pocket. And he tosses what measly fruit he has behind this cantina in a sack. And she goes, now we visited traders, the general traders. And she walks off to cover up for your lie.
I follow along.
And upon arriving at your ship, your mother's already actively making dinner. Your father helping, chopping. They stand side by side, and your mother says, I'm so glad the both of you are back. She hits the button on the wall, and the door to the vessel closes for privacy. And she says, have a seat.
Oh, don't forget to put the food away.
Oh, yeah, we brought fruit, Mom.
Take a seat. Look very warily at my sister.
Your sister doesn't quite understand. She's like, Mom and Dad talk to us all the time. She doesn't seem as concerned. Or maybe she's not picking up on the reading. But your mother and your father stop what they're doing. She kind of wipes her hands on her jumpsuit and has a seat. And they sit across from you and your sister in this booth, the same one that you share with your current family. And she says, I have been offered a job.
Oh.
A really good one. As a professor on Coriolis.
Oh.
Your father and I, we've been traveling for a long time. We have done our best to archive and map the star systems of the third horizon, but we are tired and getting older, and I think it is time for us to settle and call something else our home.
But this is home. That's everything we need.
She smiles, she says, it does. And this vessel has served us well, but your father has an opportunity as well. If we all go, we could have a real home, and you could maybe go to school. You wouldn't even have to pay because I'm a teacher.
But I don't, why? I mean, this is what you like doing. This is our home.
You're right. And I would like to train the next generation to do what it is that I do.
I guess I get that.
You could have a chance to do something more, Tao.
But I want to fly.
Well, I appreciate that. But you have seen so much of the third horizon, more than most children ever will. So your father and I have decided we're going to sell the ship.
Father, you can't.
He says this is the only way we'll be able to afford to make it all the way to Coriolis and to settle.
But you said you got a job. I mean, if both of you have jobs, why do we need this shit? Why?
We can't afford to keep it docked at Coriolis.
Well, then I'll take it.
They make eyes at one another. They say it's not that simple, Tal.
What? But this is our home. You can't sell our home.
Your father grabs her hands and kind of brings them together. He says, home is where we make it. He says, he kind of looks at your mother, who's like, no, don't you say what I think you're about to say. Like, they had that equal, empty, adult communication. And he says, we are going to go back to Coriolis. If you would like to take ownership of this vessel, I can introduce you to the man in which we hold the debt.
Okay.
You are how old now, Tal?
19.
We can't stop you. We are going to give the vessel back to him. And if you choose to take on the debt, it is yours for the taking. Your mother looks very angry. She simply says, I don't want that for you.
But
your sister,
help me.
Yeah, your sister literally takes all of this in. She seems pretty angry as well. She kind of looks at your parents and storms off, slips out of the booth. Your mother reaches for her hand. She kind of pulls away as she walks out. And your mother says, I truly believe this is the right thing for us.
Maybe the right thing for you. This isn't the right thing for me.
She says, then I stand by your father. Make your own choices. If you want the vessel, you are old enough to have it. Just be careful, Tal. Your sister, she knew I was applying for the job.
Why didn't she tell me?
Because she knew you would be upset. She loves you. Because we're not going anywhere. You've always been a free spirit, Tal. It's okay. You can always visit us on Coriolis.
But you say you're not going anywhere, but we've been going places my entire life. This is all I know. This is everything. And now you not only want to stop, you want to stay somewhere that I know I'm going to hate, and you're going to sell the only place I've ever loved. The only thing I've ever loved aside from you.
She, of course, grabs your hands and she says, sell is a strong word. We have maintained this vessel for someone else. Your father and I have never been able to own it. As much as we would like to try. But with this job and his new one, as a guard aboard Coriolis, we could buy it proper. Maybe one day. But you know how important it is what we do. The research on the people and the portals. We have to share that, Tal. I was just like you when your father and I started this. And I hope that you have many more years and that the darkness evades you. But your father and I, we have to do this.
I get up from the table and I go straight to my bunk.
And your sister is there. She lays, as she always does, on her back, arms behind her head in a rather cool and collected way, considering the information that has just been received. And your parents, you can hear, I don't want to say raised voices, but you can tell that the conversation did not go as I think they planned. And as they continue dinner, there is much debate between them.
When I go into my quarters, I just kind of pick up one of the throw pillows on my bed, and I sit down cross-legged, and I just stare. I stare at Jalissa with just hatred in my eyes.
She goes, you can stare all you want. It's not going to change anything.
Why didn't you say anything? You could have at least told me.
Because it wasn't mine to tell. Mom didn't know, and I didn't want to, curse it or anything. It's kind of cool.
I wish you would have cursed it.
I get to go to school, Tao. I get to go do something and be with other people.
Yeah, but other people are freaking scary.
Yeah.
Other people are evil and conniving, and they lie and they steal things and they hurt others.
She goes,
why would you want to be around that?
May be true, but and she kind of slams her hand against the wall, and she says, but you know how science works, and you know that speaking based upon all of the people that live in the Third Horizons, not all of them can be bad. There's no way that 100% of anything is ever true. Come on, Tao. I need this. I want to go have friends and go dancing, and I want to buy new clothes and date somebody. I want to have what we didn't before I'm too old to, use it or something.
I don't think if you...
Shut
Never
up.
mind.
She kind of she kind of rolls her eyes, and she simply says, you're gonna keep the vessel, right?
I'm gonna try.
Cool. And the night goes on. Your parents come knocking that dinner is ready. Whether or not you choose to partake in dinner is entirely up to Tao. Your sister does, and a few weeks pass, preparations are made. You jump from the current system multiple times and make it successfully to Kua. Is this the first time you would have laid eyes on Coriolis at 19? Coriolis comes into view. It's amazing. You've never seen a space station of this size. You don't come to Kua very often. It's a relatively well-mapped area of space, so it doesn't need as much attention as your parents would call it. There is a scene. It happens in silence, the camera far out as it watches. Your parents lug a few crates off of your vessel that has docked at the net. Your sister lugs her luggage off. And a kind of floating dolly meets them to help lug their things in. They're met by a man in robes who shakes your mother's hand, greeting her profusely and thanking her for joining the college. And though we cannot hear the words that are exchanged, it seems cordial. Your family turns, they each hug you and kiss you, reminding you that they love you. And they part just in time for us to see another person. He is tall, broad-shouldered. Though we do not hear the conversation between him and Tao, we do see a handshake, one of mutual understanding that the ownership of this ship has traded possession. For what price, we do not know. But as the camera continues its pan along the side, where it says the Explorer, the letters once again change under dirt and grime and years worth of wear back to the Defiant. And a man walks down to you, Tao. And he says, so, I heard you was looking for upgrades.
Yeah, I essentially just, let's see. Well, what do you have as far as weaponry?
Weapons? Well, I don't got much. Nobody really uses weapons out here unless they're sanctioned. You know, if you want some real upgrades, you should hop your behind back over to Coriolis.
Yeah,
You know,
don't have time for that.
Oh, well, how much time you do got? Because, you know, some upgrades, they take time.
I mean, well, look, I don't have time to stop what I'm doing and go all the way to Coriolis just to get upgrades when I can get them right freaking here.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We got some upgrades. Weapons, it's kind of hard to come by.
Okay, well.
He goes, well, you know, we could always do some tune-ups to your stealth. And he kind of runs his hand down the vessel, kind of sizing it up, taking in make and model and like where upgrades and things could actually be put. He looks at your vessel like it's a piece of meat. And he says, this is an older model. You ever think about upgrading? Like the whole thing?
Yeah, once I, get that job that gets me enough money that I can upgrade the whole thing, totally. I'm on it.
Oh, girl,
But-
she got jokes. She's got jokes, everybody. And he kind of like shouts out, there's nobody but him here.
You're freaking hilarious. I really like you.
Oh, he goes, really?
No.
Oh.
Going on. Anyways, what can you do in a reasonable time?
Right. Okay. So we could definitely maybe upgrade some of the stealth stuff here. You know, I could take a look and see what we could do. It looks like you've got a manual. What is that? And I'm going to pull up the character sheet so I actually know the ship sheet. So I actually know what the hell you do have. Because I think you already have one set of weapons on it. You bought it.
I do. Let's see. There is an data meme and an autocannon.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so you have an okay, so we bought the auto cannon. So that basically fires. He says, okay, so a few weeks ago, all these ships came through. They was waiting on some big freighter that was supposed to go through to the other side of Taoan. Well, we all know how that turned out. Well, let me just tell you, we have found some parts, okay. And he kind of points to this pile of burnt junk. Clearly that has been scavenged from space. And he says, but I'm telling you, just over here. And he starts pulling pieces of scrap metal to the side. They clang and make loud noises in this empty bay. And he says, I found it right here. And he moves this piece. And he like slides it to the side and you can see it. It's kind of a, it looks like a small, I don't know. Room's not the right word. It's about 4x4, I guess you could say. The whole thing is in total. And it's missing the neck of where the cannon would be. But it does look like some kind of manned turret that could be put on the ship. And he says, it's going to take me, say, 24 hours or so to, like, attach this and make sure it's secure and airtight. That's not something that just happens in a couple hours.
No, I mean, the 24 hours is fine.
He goes, okay.
I also had the cloaking system.
Right.
Looks like there were some parts that got blown off when we came into range here.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. The nose of this baby's a little charred.
Well, I did the best I could, but, all I had were the standard tools on my ship. So
He kind of sighs, looking it over. He says, look, here's the real question. Who's paying for all this?
Well, his name's Sol.
Did you all come down to the docks with her? Because no.
I probably would have brought Sol with me because he already agreed to pay for this.
So you've been standing back watching this guy and Tao have this conversation.
So baffled by this person's accent, and Sol's just like, yes.
Me too. He goes, so I see you got Harbor, you got a cred stick. How we paid for all this?
I like lean forward towards his mouth. Did you dislocate a jaw, or is that just how you talk?
He goes, what's his problem? Why is he in my personal space?
He's just really rude. I'm sorry.
So fascinating.
He goes, I'm going to tell you something. He leans in. Kid.
He's like super excited. He's like, yeah.
Out here, when you get in somebody's personal space, it's a sheer sign you're wanting to die.
I look at Tal for a minute. In an instant, he's just like, and I try to do one of these to Joey. I'm sorry, not Joey. I meant I do this. I just go like looking for permission for a minute.
He goes, did I say something? Oh no, did we lose? We lost Eris's sound.
I think she's just muted.
Sorry, I was trying to tell my husband to bring a towel up because the cat's knocked over the
water
vase, and he hasn't responded to the text message, so I had to call him.
Got you. Okay.
Sorry.
So I was like, she's saying something, and I want to hear what it is.
Okay. I've got mimic bags over there. They're just being soaked with water right now. It's fine.
So
I'm not worried at all.
Basically, kind of pulls out a data pad that he taps into, and he lays down what he can manage for you. So he can handle probably putting a what does he got here? No, not a railgun. That's not what you're looking for. Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna lean over and be like, oh, sorry. So how much is this gonna cost?
He goes, well, that's why I was asking how much you got.
That's usually not how transactions work.
He puts his arm around you and goes, clearly, you've never been to my store before.
I like to slink under and kind of stand up behind him. Please don't touch me.
Sorry, I get it. It's cool. It's cool. So, if we do in fact attach this here, and he kind of taps his hunk of junk, if we do in fact add on this,
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You're good.
Yeah.
The accelerator cannon's probably the cheapest thing.
That's what exactly I'm thinking it's gonna. I was actually. He goes,
Don't worry, what? Cal, I got you.
He says right here, I've got this is a Mason cannon. All right, but it's not how one might say in working condition. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a discount. But if you
it's not in working condition, but you're going to put it on.
I can make it in somewhat working condition with the spare parts I got here, right? So instead of charging you the big bucks for something that's new, I say I'll charge you some used price. Well used.
Well used indeed, I'm sure.
In a sense of percentage, how much functionality would it have?
Well, that depends on how much you want to pay for. So we'll say 5,000 per, and I'll get it up and running.
In percentages, what is your definition of up and running?
It'll be able to fire, and as long as your ship can hold the capacity and, won't overheat, kind of taps this tub of lug. He says you might even be able to, make sure that the, the armor-piercing rounds, they work.
First,
a disruptor.
Don't insult
beam.
my ship.
Ooh.
Second, I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, let's go for it.
You're okay with...
There are some things that you can get on Coriolis. There are some things that you can't. Guaranteed 100% working equipment is what you can get on Coriolis. You can't get it a lot of other places. So...
And he says, you sure enough can't get this kind of customer service on Coriolis.
That's the truth, too.
There you're going to have, robotic arms and people putting stuff on. You don't even know them, but you know me.
I don't know you.
You know me. You know me.
I just met you.
Come on,
What?
His name's Joey.
I'm Joey. I work the docks.
Okay. If you're cool with it, I guess.
I also
you
sell
have the
newspapers on the side.
That was a different game, Mike.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't
yeah,
cross
I
the
guess.
streams.
Sure. Here you go. I got a stick. I don't got no hardware.
He kind of takes it. He looks at it, clicks it in, it clears, and he hands it back, and he says, "You know what?
That's 5K, right?
Uh-huh. I'm gonna toss in something extra for you paying total up front. Now that's good business."
Well, my expertise, if you don't hold your end of the bargain, then we will have a conversation that I'm fluent in.
Old Joey always upholds his end of the bargain.
We will hold you to that.
He says, "I'll see you in 24 hours.
Sure.
Pew pew."
You don't. Hey, Joey, don't do that. It's
I can do pews if you want to see mine.
not.
But it's
Nope,
like a
no,
Great.
no, guys, no. We're just gonna. I'll see you in 24 hours. Don't break my
Conversation's
ship.
over?
Don't break my ship.
and he kind of runs his hand. You see him, he starts to run his hand down, and he stops at one spot. You notice it very much, Tao. He notices something on the exterior of the hull of the ship. He says, "Weird," and he kind of tries to buff it out almost.
What is it?
You can roll an observation from this far out if you'd like to see more, but he's definitely stopped.
I will get closer.
Yeah, you can walk up and see what he goes. "Somebody scratched something in your ship." You got an angry X? I had an angry X do that one time. Keep the
I'm not
whole side
surprised
of
by that.
Another one full of jokes.
That wasn't a joke.
We're just really funny here.
I see that.
Really funny.
Yeah, once you get closer, you recognize that it is more purposeful than somebody just like, an abrasion on the exterior of the hull. This is exactly the same location that the woman was praying over your vessel. It seems that she has carved something into your ship, some symbols.
Keyed your vehicle.
She did key it. She keyed it. It looks maybe she did it with some kind of stone. It's a very light carving. We're not talking like she dug deep. This is like a metal hull, right? She's just like scratched the surface a little bit. It looks to be a prayer. She's carved a prayer into the exterior of the vessel.
You know what, Joey? Don't worry about that.
But it's a hot mess. I was going to buff it out for you.
No.
The captain
please
said,
leave
"Don't
it."
worry about it."
All right. I won't touch it or wash it. Fine.
I mean, if you
around
want
it.
to wash it, by all means, be my guest. But just leave that. It's supposed to be there.
He pulls a sea wrench that's had, like, he's augmented it himself. It's bulky and weird. It's got all kind of parts. And he says, "I don't understand you two. You're weird." And he kind of walks off and begins lugging this huge piece of what will soon be the new cannon to the exterior of your vessel.
I look over to Tal and I go, "That wasn't real, right? Like, that was an act."
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure that's just how he was.
Man, this station's so funny.
Yeah, dock workers, I tell you what, dock workers and mechanics sometimes are some of the most interesting people.
Yeah, no, they definitely are. What did I just pay for?
Oh, we got a cannon.
You did.
Is mostly going to work.
Yeah, so you got a mason cannon,
Great.
which is considered a short range cannon for the, but it does 2 damage if it hits, an additional 1 if it's a critical. And I'm just checking here. It will inflict both system and hull damage. Armor has no effect. So I'll give you some more stats on it as we get it attached, but it'll be a good addition to the auto cannon that's already on there, which is used to, like, people tried to board the vessel, right, or enter the hull. It's like it fires to keep things off the ship. It's not meant for like long distance, so you'll be able to cover both now. And like you said, he's going to throw something else in. He just didn't tell you what. And as the two of you walk off and down, the camera pans back through the centralized hub of this station, past the cantina where we hear the same music playing as earlier in the day. Once again, there's a dancer. All eyes are on her. But that's not where our camera stops. It continues to the far end, where we find Malik standing on the exterior of the doctor's door.
That's me. I'm ready. So, the door is closed. Is it full of armed guards and criminals?
It does
or is there
not
police?
seem to currently be full of armed guards.
Okay.
At least not on the exterior.
Sure. So likely Lamara didn't do what I said, which is probably for the better. Yeah, I'm going to, force open the door and just step inside this medical center and peek around. Is she still...
She's sawing through a breastbone, and
Yep.
she's kind of dancing a little bit as you hear,
Does she
crack
have
it open.
the headphones for her S-Pod in?
Yeah, basically. She's humming to herself, She's got the gloves on. She's elbow in blood and gunk. You can see that there is now a mound of these red baggies off to the side. She's already cleared one body, which is sitting on the table that you were sitting on when you came to get treatment, and it's been covered. But she seems completely unobservant of you. As she reaches in and she plops more bags to the side, you hear them kind of make a noise as they hit with the bodily fluids.
Dope. How many corpses are in here waiting to be sawed open?
So you can see there are 2 on rolling slabs that were brought in off to the side, and then there are 3 bodies laid out. She's actively working on one. 2 of them are covered and look to be in completion.
Okay.
In terms of their autopsy.
Now, if I'm looking around this room, is there any kind of identifying features, apart from the torn open chests, right? Any identifying features on these ones that seem to have these bags in them versus other ones?
That's definitely an observation check.
Okay.
That's gonna be a little more, I would think.
Let's get you an
And then if you don't want her to notice you, you will want to roll for that. But I'm going to have you do, a 1. Not that you can tell. You haven't gone through these 2. These 2 have the same kind of sweat. Well, one of them, I'll rephrase that. One of them has the same kind of swelling as the one that you saw earlier, which you can assume is one of the 2 that have been in completion.
Sure. Okay.
The other one's not as swollen. Definitely is dead.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's going to clear his throat and make her aware of his presence.
A spleen goes flying and it splats on the floor, and she turns around, hands up like this. She goes, and
he's in the doorway like this.
Oh, you scared me. You really shouldn't do that. And she bends over and picks this dirty spleen up and slaps it in a sink.
I have so many concerns with what's happening in your mind, Dot. Dirty spleen. He looks to her and says, you seem to have your hands full.
Is that a joke? Is that a joke?
It was.
Did I miss it?
It was, Lamara. It's fine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm kind of busy at the moment. I'm surprised they even let you in.
They?
There are supposed to be 2 guards at the door.
There's no one here.
Man, I told them to keep watch. What if somebody snuck up behind me?
I did. It was quite easy. I just walked in.
Okay. Are you sick again?
No,
do you need another treatment?
I don't. Thank you very much for your concern. These red bags here, did you ever figure out what those are?
Oh, no. I was asked very specifically not to open them because it could be, contaminate the air or something. I'm supposed to bag them, and then they're going to be shipped off-site for chemical testing.
Oh, who are they being shipped to?
I mean, I'm going to guess they're going to go back to probably Coriolis so that the Consortium can look into it.
Oh, they didn't tell you who's picking them up?
I mean, I'm sure that they'll have an official badge. Oh, and it'll probably match the name on the order that they gave me.
Oh,
this one right here. And she reaches in and pulls it out.
Mind if
bloody.
Let me help you get the blood?
Oh.
Oh, no, you don't want that. It's official document. I got it. Just hands up. And I'm going to take a look at this document and see what...
There's an order to pick up a package. It just says like a package. Roughly weight, things like that. It'll be picked up tomorrow via it tells the vessel number. Like it tells like vessel X, Y, and Z, and it has the name of somebody on it. It's an officer of some kind that's going to be escorting it back to Coriolis. Though it does not say who, if you're looking for like a faction or something like that, it doesn't say that. But it does say that it's being picked up and delivered back to Coriolis.
And it has a vessel number. And this is paper. This is a paper document.
Yeah.
How inconvenient, Dot. I can't hack paper. Great. Cool.
She says, it was printed out to me by one of the guards. You could ask him.
Oh, did you have the guard's name by chance?
Oh, actually, possibly, I do. Give me a second. I can pull that. NPCs. Yes. You met, have you met her yet? Yes, Centaur her?
No.
Okay. There is a colonial agent on board. And she goes, oh yeah, it's headed up by Yastin Tar her, the colonial agent. They're supposed to be the ones moving the box to the vessel. She keeps like brushing her face. Gets messier every time. She presses her hair back at one point. She says, "It's just me. Is it hot in here?"
I think it's just you. You might. Do you want to do you have a fan I could turn on for you?
No, it's fine. It's just maybe it's just all the pressure of opening up these bodies.
I could just blow cool air on you if you like.
Really?
No.
Oh.
That was another joke, Lamar. It's
is there anything else I can help you with? You really shouldn't be asking about official stuff. That's how you get in trouble.
Well, I think so. What's happening is there's some kind of distress with the portals that's going on right now. We're here already, and we're currently out of work as a ship. So I'm wondering if I can't work out a deal where we just bring it back for them. Everyone wins. We don't have to send in
chemicals back to Coriolis?
Yeah, that's where we're headed anyway, right?
Oh, well, that will definitely have to be discussed with Colonial Agent Yastin her.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll give him. I'll have a word with him. Should be great.
She says, "I believe it's a her."
Great.
Yes, then her. It's a her. And she says, I mean, you know what is strange though?
What's that?
Not all the bodies were drugged.
They're drugs.
I mean, no, substances. Not all the bodies had substances.
How many of them do you think?
Well, that one, which is the first one that was here when, you were helping the first time, that one was definitely full of them. The majority of the substances were inside of that one. And she says, but this one, and she points to the second one that she's already autopsied. This one didn't have any in it whatsoever. This was just a normal body. Old dude, died of old age from what I can tell. Probably, well, there might have been a heart attack, but I'm not entirely sure. But normal. This one, and she points to the very much open splayed body. She says, see all the lumps? I haven't even finished clearing this one out yet.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, and based upon my medical opinion. Yeah, expertise, much better word. She turns and she says, that one that's bloated is also going to have more substances in it. But the other one that's not as bloated, I think that one's going to be empty.
And how many do you think might be bloated full of this substance?
I'm not entirely sure. Right now it's kind of an every other, about 50-50. So based on how many bodies have been brought in, we have a total of 27. So about 13.
And you've gone through how many?
Guess. 1, 2, 5. Well, 3 technically. These are on the slab.
Sure. So that's going to take you a while. What time do you guys close up shop here? I mean, my brother, the one you worked on with the blood transfusion, he might need to come back for further.
Oh, I'm a 24-hour clinic. That's my bunk right there. And she points to...
Just you?
Well, yeah.
Wow, 24 hours a day.
I just sleep when there's nobody in here, but right now I've got tons of company.
You sure do. You sure do. That one wasn't a joke.
And she says, so, you could come back anytime, if you wanted. I'm always here.
I might just do that.
Really?
I'm going to go see, who is this, Colonial Agent so-and-so? I'm going to go have a talk to them, and then perhaps I'll come back, and we can have a little bit of chat.
Great. Cool.
I'm gonna hold on.
Do you want me to wait? Do you want me to wait to open this one up till you return so we can do it together?
You know what? There's 27 of them, and we got to find the 13 that have the substance in them. That way we can ship them back. So there's going to be so many more for us to work on together.
Yeah. Cool. Well, then maybe I'll see you later.
A little bit later, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold on to this paper though.
She brushes the like bloody gloved hand through her hair. She pushes it back and she kind of wipes. Bye.
Okay. Bye. And he turns and leaves, still holding the paperwork that says all the ship information. As he like,
she didn't ask for it back. She's a total dunce.
Yeah, he like hand in head. He's like, what?
She's also a galactic doctor. It's fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So okay. The door kind of sits behind you. As you exit, now that you know that you're looking for colonial agents, you can't miss the two of them that are sitting at the bar, not but like 10 or 15 feet off from this front door, but they are what you may say distracted.
Can I kind of casually walk by and I assume they have some kind of badge system going on here. Can I just casually walk by and get their names?
Sure. That's going to be a nice little observation roll, but let me make sure. One of them seems to be a lackey. Okay. This is like a right hand to a right hand of a right hand that is following the actual colonial agent that's here. But let me make sure I give you the right information on her because I want to, she's important. Yes. Okay. Roll an observation. We'll see what you see.
2 successes.
Okay. Yasintira Her is her name. She's a colonial agent. Oh. She carries herself with a bit of an air about her. She doesn't slouch like the miners do as they watch the dancer, Amira, on stage. She seems very well kept. Her hair is like greased back into a very tight bun, probably a giant metaphor for her personality. She watches with little interest, but her lackey seems to be very interested. You do see her badge and his badge. His says private on it, or privateer. And
now, what would I know about the colonial agents?
They, depending on their ranking, they will be stationed all throughout the Third Horizon, depending on what they're doing. Some of them get stationed for life at places like this. Some of your more combat-heavy colonels will lead ground troops on missions, raids, that people never really hear of. And more importantly, don't piss them off because they do have pull depending on their rank and status. You can rightfully assume if she's moving whatever this is, that's trying to obviously be very hush-hush, she's not just anybody.
Now, the colonial agents, they work for the Consortium?
They do.
Okay. Malik is going to pull up a chair at her table.
Okay. It's actually like a round bar around the stage in the middle, perfect. So you could like pull up next to her.
Yeah, he slides in. He slides in right next to her, like too close, right? Like leans in and like orders whatever. Like he makes like a wave to order whatever at the bar, and then just turns to her and says, "So, how's your day going?"
It's fine.
Is it? Could it be better? Do you think?
Does it matter?
It does a little bit.
Enlighten me. Why do you think this is of concern to me?
You have a medical room full of drugs.
Her lackey stops. You can feel his energy because he turns and looks at you. And she says, we are not sure they are drugs.
Are you?
We are currently understanding that they are substances until we can identify them. Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Positive?
I am 100% sure.
I'm sure they're drugs.
Well, considering the fact that nobody on the station's supposed to know about them,
well, just so
I'm interested.
I was there when they were first discovered.
Were you?
I was.
This is so interesting, considering the fact that none of us are aware they are drugs, and yet you are so sure. What's your name?
Positive that they're drugs. Anyway, there was a colonial agent supposed
to be
picking
name.
Them up. Not important at this moment. But they're coming to pick it up tomorrow, you said?
No, I did not.
Oh, And they're taking them back to Coriolis tomorrow as well through the portal.
I do not know.
Oh, weird. It seems as though there's documentation saying that you know exactly that.
She says, you see, men only sit down and ask me questions when they want something. What is it that you want?
The transport.
Why do you care?
Why do you?
Because it is my job to care. And to assure that lackeys like you don't get their hands on the things that I am in charge of.
Interesting. What if it paid better?
It's not about the money.
Really?
If it was, I would have joined the syndicate long ago.
I mean, you work for the Consortium. What's the difference?
Be careful what you say. I could splatter your brains across the ground and have it cleaned up before anybody noticed. And you know what? They would thank me for it.
Would they?
Because the words that you throw out currently are a bit conspicuous.
I mean, so is it getting leaked to the bulletin that a high-ranking Consortium official is sending drugs back to Coriolis.
This is unproven. And more importantly, to claim that the Consortium is moving drugs is a bit bold, to say the least.
When has the bulletin needed proof?
Again, what is it that you want?
A change in the shipping manifest. I'll transport them for you.
And say that these substances don't arrive.
Oh, they'll arrive to Coriolis.
It's not just about arriving to Coriolis, but that exchanging into the correct hands.
Oh, they'll go to the correct hands.
I'll think about it. Until then, piss off. I'm busy.
And I'm going to put down like a data chit, not one with money on it, that will have like... I assume I have something like this, Dot. It is... actually, you know what? I don't assume. I'm going to use one of my abilities. I don't think you actually get darkness points for it, though.
For what, though?
My talent. My personal talent. Which is faction standing syndicate member. Which gives me an automatic +2 to any manipulation rolls. So I'm basically going to slide her like a data stick that has enough information to know that she would get paid should this go, but not be able to actually identify who I am.
Okay. I am going to have you, after this whole conversation, roll a manipulation.
Absolutely.
Just one good manipulation.
All right, let's see here. I'm going to give you a darkness point and pray to the icons. Now Gnome can yell at me.
Go ahead, Gnome.
That was 5
Yell.
dice, right?
I'm gonna yell at you. Why would you do that?
Why would I do what, guys?
Why would you do that?
Do what?
You know exactly what you did. You keep giving Dot these points. She's racking them up like freaking pieces of candy. You're handing them out like an ice cream truck.
That's actually...
Mike, we're trying to get a season fucking 2, and
Guys,
it's not going to happen if you just hand her our bodies.
11.
That's 11 dice, right? Is that the right number?
That is an 11 for my darkness points.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how that's the right number.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Eris.
That is not a more
Fucking
appropriate
mood.
Oh, fucking
Wore the
Christ. Thank
shirt
God.
completely by happenstance today.
There you go.
Not ironic this time.
She, as you lay the cred stick down, she slides it to the gentleman to her left, and she grabs you by the arm, and she says, "You didn't tell me your name."
I don't really think you need it.
She says, "I don't do business without a name. You want the shipment? You give me a name."
I don't want the shit.
Oh, man. I saw the entire dossier, and I give her the name Trellmarian.
Okay, that's okay. All right. Okay.
Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you.
Listen.
Damn it.
Listen, you leaked who your dad was, and so that's a name that's worth knowing.
All right, so you have given up Sewell's father's name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, how many? How common of a last name is that? You know,
Marion. It's okay. Man, you guys are really just screwing over Sewell's father in so many fucking ways. All right.
Well, not really. Like
That's gonna ultimately come to me, though.
Right? This is the job, and that's a name that will get the job to happen.
Now, I have to know, in all of this, what has Tamir been up to?
Praying to God we don't
Nowhere
die.
near the medical center.
not getting into shit with you all. Oh my God. He's being a good fucking boy. Chilling.
And what do good boys do aboard space stations?
Figure out what's going on with the goddamn portal.
Okay.
His whole time has probably just been with the portal master.
Okay.
Like extra coffee shots or something just to like stim packs,
right,
to just try to process as much information as possible.
Bashir is definitely welcoming of your company, aware that your studies will be in trajectory with a position of this kind. So he seems relatively open to sharing with you. Is there anything in particular you ask of him?
I think Malik is very interested in trying to capture like an energy signal or some sort of like time-space residue from the ship that came out of the portal.
Okay. You and the portal master take a trip off station.
Off station?
There is no better way to do research than to go to the portal itself. And he tells you that. You take a small jump vessel from the station to the portal where all of this went down. As you get close, he begins to do readings. This is like a puddle jumper of a vessel. And the two of you sit basically shoulder to shoulder in the cockpit and the small area in the back. As the dash begins to do a few readouts, he pops out a tablet and some other things and plugs it in. And it's really just the emptiness of space that greets you, other than the occasional beeping of the analytics that are currently and the data that's currently running off of the portal. He seems nervous.
Bashir, are you okay? You've been in space before?
Of course I have. I just don't like to be in it for too long.
Any particular reason? I mean, it's not gonna hurt you.
It's funny. I used to say that. Space is a scary thing. This portal, and you kind of literally stare into emptiness, knowing that just a light year closer, you would be sucked into a black hole. That's basically what these portals are, okay? Like, you can't even really see it. It's just there. You know it's there. And he says, I used to travel the stars. But the darkness, it changes you.
Is that darkness, or is that just life ever evolving?
He kind of leans back a little bit at that. He says, we've always evolved. It's more than that. When you see it, really see it. Have you ever seen what do they call it aboard Coriolis? Oh, one with the meme. They are sickness incarnate. The darkness take them. He says, I bet you've been told ghost stories and tales of the things that exist in the darkness between the stars, but until you actually see it, you'll never understand.
When did you encounter this?
He sits in quiet for a minute, watching again the algorithm as it runs. And he says, I lost someone, as we all do, to the darkness.
Terribly sorry.
Do you and your team actually intend to jump to Taoan?
I believe so, yes. There is... I feel that there is certain pieces of information that would be best seen instead of assumed. And the sooner that we can gather this information, the better would it be for the Third Horizon.
It is true. But if it is also true, what we learned, and something has in fact come through to the other side, I fear for what you may find there. For there are much worse things than death.
There are, but we've been jumping through the portals for how many millennia now?
Yes, but all you hear are the stories of those who arrive where they're supposed to arrive. What about the vessels that were lost between a jump? Never seen again. You see, I believe that the freighter, as it passed through, was not shot in Taoan. Do you know why we put you to sleep on ice before we jump?
I would assume yes.
Of course.
No, does not.
Right, yeah. And he says, I would hope that they've taught you this in school, at least. The mind cannot handle the space between. When time folds upon itself, there is a place of darkness. I believe whatever came through, it destroyed the freighter in the space between places, leaving half to float among in Taoan and the other half to recede here.
What would you have us do then? The alternative is to return to Coriolis and hope that somebody else will send a better vessel, or take months to go through the space to get to Taoan. And not months, it would take years. It's like a 2-year trip.
If you are lucky.
If you are lucky. We're kind of lucky.
He says, have you ever thought that there are some things that we should just let space consume? It won't be the first time in our history that we have left things to the darkness.
I can't. I'm an observer. If I see it, there's something we can do, something to be learned.
He says, well, then you are brave.
It's not what my brother says.
Then I hope you do not live your life by your brother's terms. It is a noble cause to be an observer, to track, to expand and explore.
It is how we all got here. It is how we'll probably find a 4th or 5th or 20th horizon. We will not stop.
No, we will not. But let us hope it is a more peaceful discovery than the 3rd.
By the icons, I hope as well.
For I am feared that the decisions we have made in our past are coming back to haunt us. It's about this time that the screen that's been running kind of a transmitter back and forth to try to read what's going on pings back to you some information. I'm going to have you roll. This is actually a science roll to try to understand what's coming through to the other side. Yeah. Okay. It's odd But the algorithm that's coming back doesn't seem to be written in anything, again, that you've ever seen before. There seems to be something kind of ancient or otherly about it. He points at the screen and he says, I don't understand all of this, but it does look like somebody else has put in coordinates. And he kind of points to a string of these symbols. And he says, see that there? That's coordinates. He says, the third horizon, of course, broke from the first and the second rebels, I guess you could say. All great civilizations are started by a group of rebels. And he said, everything that we have, our culture, writing, language, stems from what we learned in the first and second horizon. And he says, our algorithms, coordinate algorithms are written like this. And he points down the screen and he says, theirs like this. And you can see as he kind of pans, that pushes them together, kind of like a HUD deck, they cross over and they overlap. And he says, see, our algorithms and coordinates still match that. This is definitely older than the third horizon and seems to be a series of coordination logs ongoing. And he kind of scrolls to show it. It seems that they were testing over and over again. He says, our history books read that the portal between the first, second, and third horizon was destroyed. That the Order of the Para put everything that they had behind it, wiped out the last of the first horizon, and shut it down, isolated us to a safe haven of 34 star systems. But what if it wasn't shut down? It was just sleeping.
I mean, you said that they've made this attempt multiple times, time and time again.
It seems this way. And he kind of scrolls. He says, you can see over and over they tried to find the right coordinates, but it wasn't until this one, and he points, that they were able to get through.
That is deeply, gravely concerning.
He says, yes, it is. Because it means that the first horizon is dedicated enough to send men over and over into nothingness.
They have the materials, the people.
Only a single vessel. There's no telling how many they've lost to the darkness between a jump. The real question is, what do they want?
What would you want if you were severed violently from opportunity to reign more tyranny?
If they wanted to come through guns blazing, you would think that they would. Armies and vessels full of people to take over, right?
I would assume that the safer route would be to grab intel first. Send out what you can, see how we have progressed. As much as we do not know how they have developed, they do not know how we have developed. Not all war is fought with guns.
I fear that they are seeding a rebellion.
Do you believe that they have already started? Then
They've had plenty of time. It's been 3 days. If they hopped from the opposite side of the Taoan system around the loop back to Kua, they could make it to Coriolis in less than a week.
how long would it take us to get back to Coriolis?
See, you could go the short way around.
Right.
To avoid all of you and this station, they would have gone the long way, if that's where they're headed.
Right.
And he simply says, Tamir, I have a personal question. I spend most of my time alone, so I don't ask them very often.
Please, of course.
Why do you travel with such company?
With what company? My brother? My friend?
All of them. They seem to like you, but they seem also to have their own motives.
Well, Tal, we just need a job so that we can keep the ship running.
Tal seems like a
her
good
life. I think my brother just maybe was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And like I said, we needed an employer. We have an employer.
He kind of smiles. He says, "Isn't it funny? Your employer sent you all the way out here to the end of the galaxy to follow an empty distress call."
It has crossed my mind that these intentions may not have been as genuine as I would prefer, but who else would know?
He says, "Well, definitely not me. But I do have enough data now that if the choice is for you to jump to Taoan, I can at least type in the correct coordinates that hopefully will get you there safer than the last."
But knowing what you know now, knowing what we know, we didn't share everything, did we? Right? Okay. Yeah, that was okay. Cool. And we know about the emissaries? No.
You know that there are emissaries aboard Coriolis. Everybody knows that. The emissaries and the ghosts of Xene are pretty well known. It's well known that they were making a visit.
Right. I couldn't remember if we know if that was an end tip.
That was a cut scene.
Okay. Cool. Wiping that from my brain.
There was a hint that like what could they possibly be here for? You know, like who would be a big target was mentioned last game, but it was never confirmed.
Okay. Bashir, knowing what you know and seeing what we are very clearly capable of, what would you do in our position? Would you return to Coriolis and pass along information and that's it? That's the end of your story? Or would you make the jump? Would you want to see for yourself?
Well, I chose the end of my story long ago. But if I were you, I would ask yourself what is most important. Your trip to Coriolis is easy. You know the outcome. But knowing what you know now, can you rightfully pass off this information to those that you don't know will do good with it?
I think Tamir just kind of like...
He says, "Shall we head back?"
Perhaps. I didn't really let anybody know we were leaving.
He says, "They all seemed preoccupied." And he kind of clicks a few notches, flips a few things, and spins the vessel round for what will probably be another 30-minute or 45-minute trip back. And the camera speeds forward all the way back to the station, where Tao and Sul meet in the kind of open cantina area where all the shops are. You see Malik across the way finish up a conversation with a very stern-faced woman, very much, very clearly a colonial agent. The dancer that was on stage completes, Amira. Everybody kind of claps and applause as all of you walk in, and she wanders off kind of out of the crowd. A few people try to stop her. She waves them away. They don't even question her wants.
As she starts leaving the stage, I turn to Sul and I say, "So that lady, you wanted to know her name. That's Amira."
Phenomenal. Thank you.
You know, I could have just directed you to ask literally anybody else in the cantina, but getting my ship repaired was really nice.
I figured. But
thanks for that.
we are here to do a mission, so what helps you helps me.
It does. Look, we're working together.
Right.
The bulletin door is closed, which is interesting, Tao. You very quickly noticed that it was standing open the last time you were here. The open sign is on, though, like I said, the door is very much closed. Sewell, are you wanting to trail her, or you just watch her walk away?
So she does walk away?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she seems to be going towards what's probably considered like quarters.
I look over to Tal and ask, are you going to do that interview?
Oh, yeah. I'm just going to finish this drink and then got to get over there.
So it should be pretty obvious. You should not tell everything. I don't need to, right? I don't trust her, and it's very worrisome that she knows about us. So I would just, be wary of those who write.
I lean a little closer to him over my drink and I say, so this ain't my first rodeo.
What is a rodeo?
It's a term for docking. Okay.
Oh, I would hope not if you're a pilot.
Exactly. I've docked at many space stations. I've dealt with many different kinds of people. I got this. You go have fun with your dancer.
Sure. And I'm gonna look around and I try to get the attention of the bar person.
Yeah, sure. Different than the one that was here a few hours. There's clearly a shift change. Gentleman walks over. His eyes kind of drag from years of service, and he just looks at you. He doesn't even say anything.
Oh God. Let me get one more drink for my captain here. She has a very important interview to go to.
Oh, well, then some of this. And he reaches kind of deep in the bar as he pulls it out. A clear liquid he pours. Careful with that.
I just slide it over the towel.
I'll sip it.
It is strong. It's an alcohol.
Yep. I will sip it and let it mellow for a while before going to my interview.
I wanna after I give the drink.
You lose a darkness point.
Bad jokes are not reasons to spend darkness points. I checked.
No, but they are a reason for a lot of other things.
I think that is a good reason for us to retract some of the darkness points that might give you.
Can't take my darkness points. I earned a fair and square. Okay, fine. I'll put my bad space jokes aside.
You have to spend one for every pun.
I'm gonna tip and then pay, and then I'll get up and walk towards.
Okay.
I think at this point, Saul would kind of still maintain his kind of clumsy, himself kind of composure.
Okay.
But he's gonna pull up his mask a little bit, to cover up half of his face, and kind of starts to, using his years of experience of being such an amazing assassin, he's going to slowly, nonchalantly kind of fade into the crowd.
Okay.
And just kind of make his way towards wherever
she was headed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to need you to make a dex. This is like a stealth, basically. So a dexterity or an infiltration, either one I'll take.
Bet.
Okay. Pretty good. You blend very quickly with the crowd. Even though you stand out normally from the miners, you know how to blend and exactly what you need to do to make yourself less noticeable. As you slip away and down a small hallway that very clearly is headed towards all of the sleeping coffins, which is the housing here aboard. They room about 10 on average to a room. So you go in a room, there are 10 coffins, 5 on each side stacked. You roll an observation.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna spend a darkness points and reroll that.
What the fuck?
You're not the only person that can do that.
I haven't done it yet. Okay, so I just said
No. I get to reroll.
Oh, you roll. Okay.
I'm spending my darkness point to reroll.
Oh, I thought that. Okay, I thought your darkness made me. Oh, fuck, damn.
No. Yes. Perfect. Great. Wonderful. Okay. That's what I wanted. Okay. There is a familiar black and white kind of piece of fabric that whips around a corner and in down the hallway and into one of the spaces.
I would like to go that way.
Okay.
But keep a safe distance and the same pace where it doesn't seem too eager while maintaining observations around me.
Okay. You're the only person, you can kind of peer in as you pass, like every 25 feet is like a new room, right? Open doorway looks into this coffin hostel, basically. There are a few people that are asleep. A few miners are already resting for the evening. Waiting on like the next vessel down for their shift. But as you come closer, you realize this is the very end of the hall. It is the last set of rooms, and this one has it looks to be like fabric and things draped down and across the door, so you can't directly see into it.
Before I move any further, could I like look around to see like you said I'm kind of like alone in this hallway?
Yeah, so there's nobody like in the hallway proper. There are a few people sleeping indoors down.
Open, like they're just
most of the time, yeah. Though this one in particular,
do they have the option to close or?
From the interior. I mean, you could walk by and like bop the button if you want to lock these people in, or just like close the door behind them. But I mean, it's a community hostel basically,
Gotcha.
so people come and go pretty frequently.
All right, I'll walk up carefully towards the nicely draped archway.
There are these very beautiful kind of peacock and gem tones, all laid within the fabric. Some of them sheer, some of them not, but they drape across. You will have to pull them back if you want to like see in.
Before I do that, I'm just gonna drop my recon droid behind me and push him to the corner and turn him on. And he's gonna be facing the other direction of the hallway.
Yeah, he's behind you. He kind of.
I give him a little pat, and then I'm gonna walk up. Okay. And I'm gonna walk over and just kind of like pull it back, but then knock on the side of the arc to let my presence be known.
You pull it back. The first thing your eyes are met, which is probably not what you're expecting. This room seems to have been taken over by fabrics of the such. Things drape across the ceiling. What used to be a cold, sterile, hostile, like bunking space has been turned into more of a private quarters. And all of them stand open. These little tubes that everybody sleeps in, all of them are like open. Some of them have been repurposed. One of them as like a table. There's been something laid across. This seems to possibly be her personal space. And we get that rap, tap, tap on the door frame. There's no immediate answer.
Can I look around like quickly if there's no answer?
Yeah, roll an observation. If you want to see more than there is to see.
I'm specifically looking for the gloves, just saying. To my dad's suit.
Okay, you're looking for the matching gloves to your dad's. I love how you guys have assumed he actually had sex in that thing.
That's
just.
It was implied by a big dancing space lady.
You did mention something about he was wearing the last time he visited me.
Yes, but that doesn't mean you're supposed to take your clothes off when you have sex.
Are you though?
I mean, if you're in a Spider-Man suit.
He married Jane in this bitch, okay? All right.
Oh my God.
I can't. Okay, so yeah,
so you got a limited success. Okay.
I love you so fucking much.
Okay, a limited success. So you kind of peer around. You can see there's been a makeshift shelving. You kind of lumber around. You can tell one of the upper ones has been used to store clothing and fabric. There's a possibility maybe it's up there. But that's not before you hear the sound of a beaded dress sling over this kind of accordion style wall piece. And you simply hear the voice, "I'm not decent."
It's fine. I kind of like just look away. I just kind of came here to have a little chat if you're okay with that.
She goes,
Okay.
One moment, and a piece of clothing that's been draped across it slides down as you kind of see just her silhouette put on this kind of skin-tight suit.
Is that your casual wear? Like, do you not wear anything comfortable?
She comes slinking around the corner and she says, "Who are you to decide what I find comfortable?"
Okay, that's fair. Anyway, I'm here to pick up the rest of my dad's stuff.
She kind of leans and she says, "The rest of your dad's stuff."
Yeah, the gloves. I like to kind of avoid eye contact with her. It's like, just gloves, and the pants. I mean, not pants, the boots.
Pants?
Boots.
Is your mind
Boots.
somewhere else, Saul?
No, just the boots and the gloves. I'm really not trying to get into the mindset of what my dad was doing with this. So
She says, "How well do you know your father?"
Oh, well enough. I just need the boots and the gloves, please. Oh, and at this point, Saul goes from like kind of a clumsy. Actually, before that little device thingy, the door that closes. You said that's indoors.
Yeah, it's like a latch on the inside. It's so that somebody that's inside the room could close the door.
Am I close to it?
Yeah, you can hit it.
Can I hit it and close the door?
Yeah.
I want to do that. Turn around, and then his posture as he turns straightens up, and his face kind of changes very cold. And then he's gonna reach in and grab the powder that he snagged, and he's gonna throw it at her. And he's like, "What is this?"
Jesus.
I thought you threw it at her like coke.
I thought this was a fucking assassination.
No.
I swear, I thought you were about to just kill her.
What he doesn't know is it's like fairy dust and that bitch is about to go cray. No, okay, so
Oh my God, Paul, thank you.
so the bag kind of thuds to her feet. She doesn't take her eyes off you as she bends over, her hand kind of running down her leg as she picks it up, very clearly trying to make a scene. Okay, I need you to roll against her. This is a wits roll.
Should I use anything specific or just wits in general?
I'd say this is survival, but we're not quite there yet. So we're just going to make this a regular wits.
What is that supposed to mean? Fuck. All right. Fail.
She's so beautiful. And there's something about her eyes that seduce you in a way that you may not have had to deal with before.
Damn it, Saul. Come on.
There's
You've
a
been trained for
good
this.
possibility that she has a talent called seductive.
Oh, I wonder.
She picks it up and she kind of holds it up and she says, "My, is your daddy dealing in drugs now?"
That's what I'm here to find out. Now, clearly, you know my dad, so you know what I do, and you know what he does. So there's no need to beat around the bush.
She says, "Yes, but do you know what I do?"
I guess that's what I'm here to find out. No, I take it back. Frankly, I don't care. I just need to know what that is and why my dad might have an interest in that.
She says, "As for your father, that piece I do not know. Drugs are not his usual selling point. As for what it is..."
You just said it was drugs.
Yes, but do you know what kind?
He kind of tries to straighten himself up as if he does. And he goes, "The red kind?"
She says, "You see, based upon the fact that you only come with so little, that you're not actually moving this. Since you come with so many questions, it tells me that you found it here aboard this station.
Yeah.
And since you seem so interested in blaming it on your father, I'd say you're looking for a reason to kill him."
Well, I never said I blamed it. I just brought up his name. You just told me that he's not involved.
This is a narcotic.
Okay.
Used in small amounts, usually for surgical means to knock patients out. Used like this, some people claim to have the best nights of their lives.
Is that common around here?
No, this is a
There
very
is-
rare drug. It's used a lot by workers to stay awake so that they can work multiple days in a row.
Do you know the name of it?
It's called various things. Sun powder is a genuine and well enough term. She says it comes from a special liquid found deep, deep inside the caves of the red sun ants.
Oh, I don't like ants.
She says, if you see these coming, simply pray to the icons. It's mined deep from their nests, a liquid called umbria.
So,
My question is,
yeah.
where did you possibly find such a thing?
Well, why would I tell you?
Because I'm helping you. Roll the wits.
Fuck.
You locked yourself in here with this woman. Okay.
Don't tell them everything, Tal.
Okay. She says, look, I know that you don't trust me, and my past occurrences with your father seem to upset you a little. But considering the fact that you've come to me with this, I assume that you have nowhere else to go.
It's more so just you were the quickest route that I could obtain at the moment.
Which tells me that you don't think that I'm just a dancer.
Oh, most definitely not. The people that I work with don't just go off trying to kill just dancers. So, I am not who I am. I say I am. You are clearly not who you say you are. So there's a.
So we'll make a trade.
Okay.
You tell me where you found such a rare item, and I'll tell you who I actually am. More importantly, I'll give you access. Direct access.
To
my vessel. You can call me when you like.
I'm not really into that.
She smiles. She says, you misunderstand.
I'm not my dad.
Clearly not. Your father's clothing would have been on my floor the moment he entered my room. You seem to be a businessman, so. And I appreciate that. So tell me, where did you find it?
Saul kind of like looks for a minute and just thinks, realistically, I have no favoritism to my dad. And
clearly,
if a hit is put on someone and it's not completed, that someone else will come and complete it. Now you have your location and I have your dancing name, which is more than enough. So from my end, I have more leverage than what you seem to offer. Because frankly, I don't give a fuck who you are.
You should, considering the fact that the reason your father did not kill me is because I offered him more than the syndicate ever could.
What do you mean more?
Oh, Tal. A businessman, kind of. You're so naive.
Listen, all I need to know is whether or not me knowing you're alive has leverage over my dad.
I could give you better leverage over your father if that is your bargaining chip.
I'm gonna need more. And if you want to know the location of the rest of that ant poop stuff.
She says, here's the thing. It's clearly come off this vessel.
You don't know that. I could have brought it.
No. You... you have a tell, soul. Roll manipulation since you're lying to her.
I think
you're lying to the great liar.
Fuck.
She says,
I'm not a very good assassin.
She says, you should really work on lying. I could scour this station in no time. Every man and woman aboard this vessel would simply do what I wanted them to by asking. So, let me help you, soul. All you have to do is tell me where you found it, and I'll give you a lifeline that even your father knew was better than anything the Syndicate could ever offer you.
No. And I'm going to turn away. And I'm going to open the door and walk away. Or I'm going to just open the door. I don't know if she's going to do anything. But I'm going to try to...
She doesn't. She says, bye, Sue.
Oh, he gets up. And before he leaves, I'm going to run by and just take the bag off of her.
Mm-hmm.
This is mine.
She holds it very close. You have to get very close to get it from her.
I go ahead and try to... I don't know what I have to do.
Yeah, you kind of pull, like you almost have to like reach. She holds it back, so you have to like reach across her. She doesn't move, not even a little bit. She smells really good. As she lets it go into your hand.
I think it's only fair that I give you a warning that this will be reported.
She says, I only assumed as much. You're such a good boy, Sue.
And then he's not going to say anything and just walk out. As I walk out, I'm pissed. I'm fucking pissed. I'm going to pocket the little bag and kind of just walk until I'm out of the view of that archway and just like grab my mercury dagger and kind of pierce a little bit of under my neck right here with it and then just put it away and then just stand there for a moment and just let the blood drip a little bit.
You have that moment of release from the anger and aggression you feel towards this woman who clearly was either not who you expected or knew more than you ever thought possible. More importantly, she got under your skin.
Yeah.
But you did not cave, which is more than can be said for your father.
I guess in a sense, Saul takes a little bit of pride. Does he does that go through his head? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she made it clear that your father did not have as much, that he could not do what you did.
So he wants to take joy in that thought, but he just feels like such a failure that he immediately just erases from his mind. And in his thought, all he could think about is just her overshadowing him. And he kind of just is grunting and just walks off and just kind of like every once in a while we'll just punch the wall.
Oh, yeah, that frustrated.
Yes, teen, keep punching the wall.
That angst. It's down. We follow the kind of vibrations of the thud of your fist down the hallway and back across to Tao, who is, I'm guessing, entering the bulletin. Yeah.
Yes.
As you enter, you see her sitting there, but she seems deep in thought as she's clacking away writing a story. Anita is all hands on deck, papers lay all around her, and you see for the first time her station here. There are all of these different, I guess you could say printers, but like all of these different stations and monitors, one for every system. The one from Coriolis is like as it's like printing out rapidly, and she's typing as fast as she can into basically her HUD, and it's sending it away via her data pad. Yeah. What do you do? Because she hasn't noticed you as you enter.
Shoot, what was her name? No, where is it?
Anita, I'm sorry. Her name's Anita.
Sorry, other page of my notes. Anita, you wanted to talk to me?
Oh, she keeps typing as she looks at you. She doesn't stop. Clearly things are going through her head. She says, yes, the interview. Right.
Not a bad time?
Tao, no, come in, sit, have a seat. And she kind of brushes a bunch of stuff to the side to make a seat for you. This place is a disaster, and it's clearly just her working station. She says, have a seat. What kind of guest would I be to invite you to the bulletin without a seat?
Oh, thank you. As I take a seat, I look around at everything around me oh my gosh.
Yeah, it looks like a freaking conspiracy room in here. Things are pinned up everywhere. She's got red lines taped to stuff. You can see that she has makeshift labeled each one of the stations, and it's definitely the KUA system that's printing out rapidly. And she says, I'm sorry, since I last saw you, there has been some interesting news, and I'm trying to be the first to report on it.
Oh. Well,
my job.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get in the way of you doing your job.
Yeah, she says, in fact, I'm trying to leave the station this evening.
Oh. Where are you going?
Oh, the only place news is hot, Coriolis.
Right. Do you mind if I ask what it is?
She kind of stops and kind of clicking, and why don't you roll an observation while you ask that? Because you may be able to see some things sitting around.
Okay.
Without her having to answer, because, she is the press. She is the press. Okay. And she was working, so she's not really had time to hide anything. Like I said, you can definitely tell that the KUA printout is just rapid action. On her data pad, she's writing up the next release, and it very clearly says emissary lost. And it's very known that there were emissaries aboard Coriolis. And she says, I feel bad if I were to tell you that more important news has come along. Is that bad? I mean, I can still take it. I do a profile. Every once in a while, it would be great to have, a captain. Captains don't really like to share what they do. And you've been flying in the same vessel for how long?
My entire life.
See, that's interesting. And she kind of starts a new thing. And
really not that interesting.
And she says, and so your whole life, were you always by yourself? Oh, wait, I know that. You were with your parents, right?
Well, I know you have more interesting news and more important things. We can forego this if you don't have time for it. It's perfectly fine.
Well, see, I had interest in interviewing you and your party. I had heard upon your arrival that maybe you were involved in some way in the ongoing mystery around the Taoan system.
Not as far as I know, really. We were just coming out to get reports to figure out what was going on, at least.
And have you found anything?
Nothing I'd care to report, really.
Ah, that's unfortunate. It seems that there is definitely something odd, and the portal master has kept to himself over the last few weeks.
Well, I'm sure that if they find something, they'll let you know.
Probably not. Nobody talks to the press.
Okay, fair. I got it.
She's like, did you really want to come in here and talk to me?
The only reason why I came is because you used to work with my parents.
Well, there's a sense of honor in that and loyalty. I appreciate it. Off the record, tomorrow's paper will be one of the hardest I've ever printed.
Did you find a new material to print it on?
She says, I appreciate the humor. No, unfortunately, it has been reported that one of the emissaries, one of the ghosts of Xene, has in fact been kidnapped from the Coriolis station. There is question as to whether or not it is still alive. The station is amiss, and nobody is sure what to do.
Wow. That's a hard story.
Yes, it is both my job to inform and to not cause panic. A very difficult task.
Luckily, I'm sure you're better with words than I am.
Let us both hope.
Yeah. Well, you probably wouldn't have gotten that job if you weren't.
And by gotten the job, you mean I forced my way into every story I've ever had, but yes.
Well, I mean, hey, however you get the story, that's getting the job, right?
That's what I say. Are you going to finish your trip to Taoan?
I'm not sure. My engineer is currently, I guess, working with the portal master to see if they can figure out what's going on with that portal. I'm not entirely sure when he starts using some of the words. Probably couldn't even repeat them.
This is why they are portal masters.
Exactly. I'm good at flying my ship. That's my job. That's what I do.
I'm good at writing stories.
Exactly. See, this is why you get that job. I'm good at not bumping into stuff most of the time.
And my job's to bump into everything. Ha! And she laughs again, trying to keep the banter going. And she says, well, and kind of walks over and she tears the printout from, it's kind of on this long, narrow piece, almost like receipt paper is how I imagine it, as it like prints out, and she kind of rips it off and she begins kind of thumbing through. And there's kind of a grave look on her face as she proceeds to kind of tell you, almost reads it out loud. She says, let's see, I want to make sure I can give you what I can give you. She says, it is official, the emissary is missing. And the other 4, because there are 5 identified, are also currently at large, is what it says.
Well, I'm glad they're not small. They'd be harder to find.
She laughs again. She says, I feel like I need something. Were you there on Coriolis the day the emissaries landed?
I think I was on a job that day. I don't really pay attention very much, to be honest. If it doesn't concern my ship, it doesn't really concern me.
I'm afraid the emissaries concern all of us, no matter how we may try to ignore it.
Well,
I remember standing there, watching them arrive. The first one, anyways. Strange ghostly figures. Made people uneasy. Some people spat horrible things, words at them. Others believed them a curse. Some of them believed them to be the icons. Could you imagine? Do you think that's true? That they're the judge incarnate?
Just a captain. Not a philosopher. Not a mystic.
But
not anybody with really much wisdom.
She says pilots always have the most wisdom. They've seen the most. both out of people and places.
We're practical.
Trust me, I also traveled with your parents. I remember the emissary, when it spoke for the first time, it addressed everyone, and it said, its first word was friends. Friends. He says, friends, we have arrived. We are the answers to your prayers. The night is closing in. We are light of peace. Friends. Maybe I'll start my article with that. A reminder that they came in peace when so many people feel they are what beckons the darkness. Well, as much as I appreciate the company, this article's not going to write itself. If you still want the interview, I'm more than happy to finish it up.
It's okay. I'll leave you to your article. That's definitely more hard hitting and much more interesting than anything I have to say.
She kind of laughs. She says, that is almost unfortunate.
It's fine.
She says, not for you, but for all of us in the Third Horizon. She says, I have a station, or I have an office at every major portal station, and one on Coriolis. Of course, so you could, and your friends maybe could drop by later for an interview when all this is said and done. I'd like to chat with your friend that's been doing the research on the portals.
I'll tell him to come and stop by sometime whenever we can.
She says, well, you know where to find me. Always under the bulletin. And she points, and there's a big sign that says the bulletin there. And she says, make sure to check out the paper tomorrow. I think this is going to be one you don't want to miss.
Okay. I will do that.
And she goes back to kind of clacking away as she completes, again, a new printout starts, and you hear it as the door closes behind you and you enter. All four of you are back now in the centralized area of this station, having done whatever you've done. Some of the miners, most of them have gone off for the evening. The cantina is much quieter, and there's plenty of room for the four of you.
How was everyone's day?
Phenomenal.
You seem stressed. What's the matter, buddy?
Shut up.
Well, someone's for sure a salty boy. Captain, how about you? How was your day? How was your interview?
Oh, it was barely an interview. It was fantastic.
Great. Nothing slipped out then.
No, she was barely even interested in what I had to say because there's more news.
Great. What news?
I'll tell you later.
Oh. That kind of news.
I hate the station.
He'll never be back.
Bartender, can I please get a drink?
A glass immediately slides down to the end, catches your hand in perfect placement.
I tap the bottle.
He looks at all of you, slides the bottle, and 3 more glasses down.
I take it as if I'm about to pour it, but then I just start drinking the bottle.
Hey, give me some of that.
Someone has had a bad day. Tamir, tell me you have good news.
I give it to you.
I have a lot of research to still do.
Well, I guess in this case, no news is good news, I guess.
What about you?
I just kind of hung out.
With who?
Well, I went to the doctor to see her,
She likes you.
I know.
Are you feeling okay?
Yes.
You're a lot more cheery than usual.
My...
Normally I have this brooding cloud that I can kind of physically see. It's not there anymore.
Did she give you a checkup?
Like this? See, you get it.
Get what? What's happening?
Did you? You know?
Why aren't you finishing your sentences?
No.
What is going on?
Malik.
No.
I look at the bottle.
Tamir.
Malik, look at you got like the smile on your face. Like,
You're getting embarrassed.
Why is he getting embarrassed?
You know what, Soul? It's okay.
What is okay?
Anyway, I went to see the doctor. We had a discussion. Tamir and Sul, your results came back positive. You guys should be fine. I came over here. I had a drink. I met with the colonial agent here that runs kind of runs the station here, more or less.
Wait, you met with the who?
The colonial agent.
Why?
We're a ship here. The colonial agent kind of runs the station, more or less. They work for the Consortium. I figured, any intel's good intel, right?
Did you get intel?
No, they have nothing. They have no idea what's going on.
they had nothing to say about all of the bodies or, the broken portal or literally anything else that's kind of going on.
They don't know anything about the broken portal. From what I understand, it's been pretty tight-lipped. As far as the broken bodies, I think they're from the ships that, exploded. The debris field.
Am I able to roll to see if he's lying?
Well, let's have him make a manipulation first, and then of course you can.
Yeah, I know.
He's super lying to you. He's talking far too much to be telling the truth.
Saul gets up, not gets up, but he leans up as if he's about to say something. I don't care, and he just drinks another bottle.
Good news. I think I have a line on a secondary job for us.
We're still on this job.
I know.
Yeah, usually I finish jobs before I take new ones.
New ones require more supplies and to make sure that the ship has the proper capacity to handle the new job. That's not
I need details on it. We're not leaving until I know what's going on.
It's on the way.
On the way where?
To Coriolis. The colonial agent.
We're going to Taoan.
That's fine. It can wait. There's no rush to it.
Excuse me?
There's no rush.
Were you not the one in the ship
on the
a few hours ago?
The job, Saul. The job. The second job. There's no rush on the second job.
What's the job?
They need a package delivered to Coriolis. I figure we're going to go to town and then head back there anyway. We might as well pop it on the ship.
What's the package?
Didn't ask. Didn't care.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to speak with her to figure out what exactly needs to be carried, if I need any special equipment for it.
And all of the paperwork I'm going to have to do.
It's a crate.
Yeah.
Customs is a little bit frustrating.
It's one crate.
Not to mention the fact that he needs paperwork for his internship as well. I have to document everything he does.
Is he being documented?
I'm waiting on the paperwork.
Well, once I get the paperwork, then I can decide if I want to take the job or not. But you don't have authority to say what we're doing. It's my ship.
She has a point.
You can't take jobs for me.
From behind you, a small clap.
Now you will turn around.
There is a very kind of strong, tall, and kind of a broad-shouldered woman who stands there, her hair slicked back into a tight bun. Malik, you know this woman.
Agent Thurs, take a seat. We have a...
She says, I have business to attend to,
bottle.
and I must not drink with civilians.
Right.
And she says, your friend...
Crew.
Your crewmate came to me today, offered a little opportunity for you to take a job to move some cargo back to Coriolis.
See?
Who is your captain?
That would be me.
Her.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And you are?
She says, she says, I am colonial agent. Yes, star her.
I will stand up to shake their hand and say, I am Taltuma, captain of the Defiant.
Ah, I heard of that before, the Defiant. Ah, You dock on Coriolis.
Yes,
Science vessel.
correct.
Perfect.
Tal, she's heard of the Defiant.
This is your intern. You are studying from the university, yes?
Yes.
As for the two of you, she says, we have not met.
She pointed to
She
me.
points right at Sewell.
He puts down the bottle, kind of like straightens up a little bit. I'm Saul. And then sits right back down.
Saul. Interesting. And she says, well, Mr. Marion here has offered for you to move a very, very important item.
I'm sorry, who? I must have, he like clears his mask, like ear a little bit. I must have dazed off here. Who offered you?
He says, Alcon Marion, your shipmate?
I'd like to go and reach for the bottle and like knock it over intentionally into Soul's lap.
Okay.
Oh no!
Okay.
Soul, I'm so sorry.
What are
I've
you-
had too much to drink today. It's just been a long day of studying. I'm so. Why don't we go?
Tamir,
Clean
I
this
told
up.
you, never drink and study in the same day.
I
Bad
know.
idea.
I just it's just been a long space day.
It's
So
fine. I will get this cleared off. And now I'm gonna walk towards wherever there's like, I don't know, paper towels.
Yeah, he would have a rag, like the you could walk around to the opposite side of the circle bar and grab a rag from
space bounty.
the space bounty.
It's called Spouty, guys.
With the apostrophe.
Upside down.
Bounty.
Oh my god, that's gonna be a t-shirt in a few days. But yeah, I will go and
Spouty, the
clean
quicker
myself.
space.
I wonder if your TP has to be super soft in space.
I would like to go clean myself, but I don't want to leave too far where I still want to
Yes.
listen.
Yeah. You just kind of go around the edge of the bar. The guy's there. He hands it. He allows you to pat it off, and she says, "Interesting, Captain.
Yes.
Here is new paperwork." She hands over printed paperwork to you.
Okay, I will start looking at it
She says,
immediately.
"This is the vessel that was to be here tomorrow. The consortium felt it was unnecessary funds, since they already had a vessel in this sector. And with such a high-profile member, they felt that we had everything we needed to assure that the box will arrive safely aboard Coriolis."
As she's saying this, I'm reading through the docket and figuring out exactly.
Yeah. So basically,
what it
first
says.
thing tomorrow morning, in about 12 hours' time, you'll pick up a box from the doctor here. It'll be an unlabeled package. It does not say what is on it or what is in it. You are to move it from here to Coriolis. You will be met at the Coriolis docks by another individual, a representative, another colonial agent that will take it from you and move it. Your job is simply transportation. The fee for this, with full completion, is 2,500 burr. This is an important one. Plus, these are small numbers to have somebody so esteemed. I understand if it is below something that your crew usually handles.
You flatter us.
There's a reason that I hold the position that I do, Marin.
You.
All right. I have to double check and make sure that our original reason for coming here is completed. And I don't see why not. When does this need to be delivered exactly?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
It's more important that it arrives versus when it does.
Okay.
Once you arrive and check in with the Coriolis station, the colonial agent will meet you. Once you have checked in, they will be alerted, regardless of when it is that you land. For it is my understanding that you are currently under another contract.
We are?
I trust as a captain, you will do the business as you see fit.
I will. I think we're very close to completing the current contract, and then we'll go ahead and get this to the Coriolis.
It is wonderful. Sign here, please.
I take one look at Malik out of the corner of my eye, and then I sign. Just like this.
Yep. There's some light writing exchange, and she says, wonderful. She kind of beeps into a data pad. It is done. The package will be ready for you. You can pick it up from the doctor in the morning. I suggest you avoid bothering to look inside. But I have a feeling that you already know what's in it. And she eyes Malik. Good evening.
Have a
Good
good
evening to you.
And she goes off for her patrol.
I sit down and I take the glass that was in front of Malik that's still like partially full, and I just drain it. All right, put it down.
I'm gonna walk back towards the group.
I think Malik picks up what is, I assume, like a third of a bottle of whatever the alcohol is.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, and as Saul kind of walks back, he like thumbs the lid of the bottle, or like the mouth of the bottle, looks to Tal and says, "Fee is yours, package is Dad's," and points to Saul, and then starts to walk towards the doctor's office and says, "I have a doctor's appointment." And he begins to take the bottle with him.
How many people are in this canteen?
There are about, counting the four of you, maybe 10 people, plus a bartender. There is the kind of lackey private that's standing outside, gun by the door. He's clearly guarding the doctor's office as well. But he's a few 20, 35 feet away.
Okay, Nah, okay.
No,
Saul's
dude,
gonna-
dude,
yeah.
Saul, do it.
Go for
do
it,
Saul.
Saul.
Do what you want to do, Paul.
I think Saul would walk and try to match Malik's pace.
Go for it.
And try to walk with
Okay,
him.
you don't want him to see you coming?
No, he can see me coming. That's okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, matching his pace is no problem then.
Yeah,
As long as you're not trying to hide from him.
I would like to put my hand on his shoulder and try to stop him from continuing to walk.
He'll stop.
And I ask, do you need help?
I mean, I don't think we're that close, Saul.
We're practically brothers.
Saul, I don't...
Why don't you walk forward? And I'm going to push him out the door.
Saul, you realize I'm not having a doctor's appointment, right?
Yeah, I know. And I'm gonna keep walking forward.
You guys get to the door. This measly little private steps up and he goes, the doctor's not taking visits tonight.
I don't, Saul, I don't know what the plan is here, man.
You can talk to me instead. What can I?
What is
How
your
can I help
name?
you? I'm Private Whitmore, sir. Sir, I don't know if I should call you sir. I'm Private Whitmore.
Saul, we're friends, but we're not this kind of friend.
We have arrangements outside of this canteen and to communicate with the doctor.
In the morning. The doctor is not to be disturbed till the morning.
Kid, tell the doctor, tell Lamara that Malik is here.
But she said not to disturb her.
Tell the
Just
doctor
poke
that
your-
Malik is
poke-
here.
Poke your head in. You're fine. Poke your head in.
Take 2 paces
Well,
back,
okay,
sirs.
just relax. And he steps back.
Okay, he doesn't take his eyes off you as he hits the intercom and he says, "Doctor, there's a Malik Mark. What was your name?
Malik.
Malik. There's a Malik here to see you. Over." And there's like a moment of pause, and no response. And he says, "Doctor, there's a Malik here to see you. Over." And there's no response. And he, this time, the third time around, he hits the button for the door, and it slides open. And the doctor lays passed out on the ground. There is blood, and more than just her hands being in somebody, probably her own blood as it pools on this very clean white floor. The stack of medicine seems to be gone, and there is a hatch in the ceiling that hangs loose. He immediately cocks his gun and he goes, "Doctor!" as he runs over and kind of flips her over to check her. She's been she's been stabbed in the chest. She breathes heavily.
Oh, is she alive?
Partially, barely.
Okay.
Malik turns away from Saul and just shouts back to Tamir. Because I think Tamir assisted in at least holding someone's organs the last time.
Yeah, and she's the only doctor on board, so...
Can I run to the guard and tell him, go get the authorities?
He goes, yes, sir. I mean, no.
Just go.
Okay. And he gets up and he kind of stumbles as he tries to get out the door, and runs past. I would say Tamir and Tal, you see this happen. There's something wrong inside of the doctor's office.
Malik, as soon as he goes to run, Malik turns to shout. He's like, "Tamir, Tal." And he motions to you.
I feel like Tal and Tamir were about to have a very serious conversation, and then that happens.
Yep.
Then that happens.
Yep. Yeah. So up and moving.
Yeah.
You run to the door, you peer around, you see what they see. She has been stabbed. It is cauterized, technically, so it was also some kind of heated blade, very clear to see. But she still bleeds out from certain areas. She seems to have been punched in the face based on the kind of dark circling around her eye. And she seems very dazed and barely hanging on for life.
I'm immediately going to go into... oh shit, I'm on ship. Someone's hurt. Medicine mode.
Is there no one else in this medical?
It was just her and all the bodies.
And then the guy left, right?
Corpses, yep.
So it's just us four, and is there the panel control room for that area? Is that still indoors?
This door would have one on the interior and exterior. The panel control. So there would be one on both sides.
Can I close it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I want to close it.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna walk back to the group and just kind of wait and see what they do with the doctor. Keeping my eye on Malik for a minute.
Malik looks right to Tal. What do you need?
I'm just trying to keep her alive. What do you want me to do?
So here's what we can do. Somebody can make a metacurgy check to maybe try to just stop the bleeding. That would be the check. Yeah. Anybody that would like to help can.
Does anyone have
I definitely would help.
I don't have metacurgy.
So
don't have metacurgy.
Just
but I do have wits.
This is just a wit check. Then none of you are actually trained. It's just a wits. Through the power of love.
So Malik sees you guys bumbling. He's like, "Get out of my... Tamir, where's your med kit? Is it on you?" No, great.
No, why would they have my med kit? It's in there. We're in a doctor's office. There's a med kit right there.
Open that drawer. Give me that package. And he's like, he tears open Quick Claw, and he's moving Quick Claw into the wound, and he kind of patches it up, and he's doing the best he can with what he saw that was kind of miscellaneously open while she was cutting into people.
Yeah. And what did she have?
Yeah, he knows where a few basic things were, because she's kind of a mess. And the drawers were open that he saw before, and he grabs whatever he can to attempt to at least staunch the flow of blood. To make sure that she stops bleeding out.
You find basically second skin.
Yeah.
And you kind of lay it across one side. It burns. She screams out as she reaches up with her bloody hand and puts it on your face. She says, "You came back."
Well, hon, you're bleeding out. He's doing whatever he can.
Yeah, you need to do it on the backside, so you guys kind of help roll her over. She screams again as you lay a second piece of skin on, and by the second one, she passes out from the pain. Her hand kind of drips off your face and plummets to the floor as the door behind you slides open, and there stands the colonial agent, who immediately says, "Stand up. What is going on here?"
Someone stabbed your doctor. We just saved her life. Also, your
Captain.
private's an idiot. Whitmore?
She looks at her private. He's shaking with the gun in his hand. Can hear his armor kind of rattle.
I wouldn't give him that gun.
She says, well, it's not your decision, is it? She says, please leave the doctor's office. This is now officially a crime scene.
Agent?
Fair enough.
She's alive? What? Do we not want to take care of her first?
She says she is stable. Yes?
Agent?
We're not doctors.
He points
Are you a
to
doctor?
He points to the table.
What?
What were we picking up? And he points to the table again. And then he points to the hatch open in the ceiling. You have a thief on your space station.
She says, docking station. Stop all incoming and outgoing vessels.
Effective. All right, everybody out. You heard her.
She grabs, as all of you exit, she does grab Malik. And she kind of pulls you close and she says, I'm watching you.
Hey, that's
Nobody drops ahead of the syndicate's name unless they are looking for trouble. You have found it. I hope you find what you promised you would deliver. Because if you don't, I'll be more than happy to lock you and your friends up. She kind of releases him and pushes him a little bit. She says, go. Whoever it is hasn't left station yet.
Have a good night.
And the door kind of behind her, she's actively trying to pick the doctor up and get her on a table. As the camera kind of pans down, up through a hallway, out to the docking bay, and there you see it. Another vessel that was also docked here. The Corsair. The engines turn on. You see a couple people run out to the docks as they wave, saying, don't leave, don't leave. You can't do this. You can't do this. As the Corsair takes off, a few turrets try to shoot it from the sky to no avail.
Are we there for that?
Nope. That's
Okay.
just what the
We're
camera
out.
sees.
Gotcha.
Yep,
Yeah, we're
that's what the
outside
camera
medical
sees.
area.
And the Corsair takes off. And that's where we end this week because we're literally already over and out of time.
You son of a bitch.
I know, sons of bitches.
So!
Fuck.
All of you are plotting against one another, and I'm just going to use it to make your life miserable.
Fuck you, Mikey!
That was literally Saul!
That was Saul.
That was
We-
great, Saul.
I walked out. Okay?
Yeah, but you still
did-
told
no,
her
you
there was
did
a
walk out.
fuckload of drugs.
You did walk out. Let me tell you this. You did walk out, and I'll tell you, it would have ended differently had you taken the deal, but it would have ended differently. You could have. You were going to get in trouble either way. I mean, you came knocking on her doors.
God, you threw a bunch of space coke to a better assassin.
I should have just killed her.
Right!
I was about to say, if you could have killed her. Again, don't underestimate the dancer.
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
She was onto you. She has what's known as a third eye. You can't sneak up on her.
God,
Ah.
I hate you.
So cool.
Yeah, she's scary. She's real scary.
This title should be changed from choices to Saul fucked up.
That was the choice you made.
All of you made choices.
Yeah.
All of you made choices tonight. All of you made choices.
Damn it.
That was what this was about.
Fuck. This has been another episode of Void. Oh, man. We're not going to get shit done. Next week's going to suck.
Next week, you have to make a choice.
I know.
I thought we made a choice. Oh my god.
Okay, this has been another episode of Void. Let's go around, do our introduction for our cast, and get the hell out of here. Let's start with Paul. You know,
How you doing, Paul?
Fucked, man.
Why? Why you fucked?
That did not go as I planned.
it literally did not. From like start to finish, you were like, no, this is. Oh no. Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
no.
as
Oh,
I
no.
was-
Sorry, how about that crit for seduction roll I made?
Yeah, oh my god.
She could have forced you to say anything she wanted, but she let you take it at your own pace.
God. Yeah, well, hello. I'm Paul. Playing Saul. Oh, are you okay?
Oh,
I'm
good
playing
luck.
Saul, the absolute shit assassin. Oh wow, May just walked out saying I suck. Great. Okay. Yeah, you can find me on Inwalt at Inwalt123 on Twitter. I don't know what else to say. Fuck. Shit.
We love you, Paul. Even though Soul made bad decisions.
It's okay. You know what? Bad is 100% subjective.
I just want to say,
Totally.
he made the conscious decision to leave because he was like, I have enough information and this crew has done nothing wrong to me and I don't want to fuck them up. That's why he left. But clearly he's a moron.
He's a bit loose-lipped, let's be real, but I
Yeah.
don't think he's a moron. He went in with all the best intentions, wanting to find the information necessary. And you know what? You did keep your team safe, because if you had conspired with her, it could have ended much worse than this.
See, today we learned why Saul is the trigger man and not the information man.
Yeah.
Like Malik did much
He
better.
didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair,
No. Who really fucked us?
I mean, to be fair, everything that Malik tried to do did happen. It just someone else stole it.
That's true. Wowzer.
Speaking of protecting Malik, Gnome, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
Hi, I'm Gnome. I do space things on the internet now, like this. We're still gonna, like, if I don't do my outro, we just keep playing, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like if we just boycott.
Can we just hold Dot hostage?
Yeah,
It'll be
Dot,
fine.
you can't leave. If we're here, you can't go. So,
Yeah, that's rude.
so you can find me here every Thursday doing space stuff. You can find me Wednesdays on Little Red Dot's channel doing some space stuff. Although I think it's the finale.
It's the finale this upcoming Wednesday. It's the finale of our team place.
Yeah, it's such a fun game.
It's gonna come. I know, but we have such a fun little closing happening. It's gonna be.
I know.
great.
I'm excited. It's
That's
kind of
cute.
like space prom. It's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be great. You can also catch me on the podcast Rise of the Demigods. I have another space podcast coming out called We Never Left. I think that's all I'm doing right now.
I'm on that.
Oh yeah, I guess
can
that
say
guy's on it too.
I can say
yeah.
that now.
Yeah, you can.
It's officially
It's public info.
I'm on it. Oh man. With that information, let's jump over to Eris. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Hello, I'm Eris Savad. I'm your not neighborhood. I'm a rainbow stitch witch. You can't tell because I'm wearing a wig. I make dice trays and bags, and I play a lot of RPGs. You can find me here, obviously, on Thursdays, like right now. You can find me on Savrik's channel on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern time for an Echoes in the Ether, which is a Planescape campaign. Also very dark and just getting darker and darker. On Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern time, you can find me on Open for Adventure, playing a 5th edition homebrew campaign, which is also fun.
Yeah.
Yay.
Great, and that's it. That's everyone who doesn't want to hurt us and kill us. So I mean, I think we've.
So that's it. We're just gonna go.
That's it. Bye, everybody.
No, but our master of darkness points. Dot, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are
I'm
you
just
up
the
to?
keeper of darkness points at this point because I haven't actually used that many, but I did use one. I did scratch one out, so everybody feel good. See, that one got scratched out. So we're back down to 10, which I'm hanging on to a very
Goody.
I'm holding on to a very special
So
moment.
was that
which
the
I just
first
know is
darkness point that was spent?
Yeah.
No, I've used 2 this campaign.
Okay.
Yeah, I used
Oh,
one
yeah,
early on.
To open the
I
thing.
correct. So I used
Both
one.
of them were related to where I was.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Well, clearly I'm plotting against Paul. It's
Yeah, clearly. Fuck all of you.
I'm Little Red Dot. It is always such a pleasure to come play with this group of people. If you want to find me playing with other awesome folks all over the internet, you can do it in multiple places, including the North by Northwest podcast. Once a week on Wednesdays, we release. Again, we're closing out our Teens in Space campaign this upcoming Wednesday, but I'll be excited to announce that we will be launching in 2 weeks' time a new all-women's Viking game, which there'll be a face you see here that's also going to be there. Not just mine, actually, Eris's too. Fuck you, Mike.
Wait, is that a thing now?
Yeah, you can talk about it now. Yeah, I'm gonna be a Viking!
Sorry.
We're going to be playing, it's North Sea Epilogues by Renegade Games. It'll be an all-women's group. We'll be announcing cast this upcoming week, and we'll start dropping some of the assets for that, which is going to be pretty sweet. And I'm excited. This Sunday, we launch a brand new Dragon Age campaign over on the Dot Lot for the next 4 Sundays. So some dark fantasy and what's what I'm looking for? Dense fantasy. Dark Ages is dense fantasy. Some grim, dark, dense fantasy coming your direction, at least for the next 4 Sundays. And I'm excited to announce I'm a player in that campaign. So if you need Dot as a dwarf with a beard, I'll be there doing all of that. It will be Sabrick who is GMing that for us, and we've got a killer cast. So come check it out. Lots of things kind of movie grooving, ebbing and flowing over the next few weeks for me. But I'm always here every Thursday to torture these fine folk.
Hell yeah, that's super awesome. I think that's going to be it for us, guys. If you haven't followed us on the Discord or checked out our Patreon, please go do so. And we also have a brand new podcast called Dark Fortunes Podcast. It is currently releasing across all platforms. I think we're just missing iTunes right now. So go check that out on Twitter at Dark Fortunes Pod. It's a D&D 5e Pirates game because we love pirates. And with that, we'll get out of your hair. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.